Hey YouTubers, what's going on? East New York's finest, hosted by Mike, was popping. I just want to, for the last couple of weeks, it was shaking time. There's a lot of people at the Meadowlands that I used to deal with. I no longer deal with, and then there's some people that, well, I still don't deal with them. But anyway, enough of that. I'm still a little upset because some Neanderthal on one of my other videos involving me getting rid of my the hell you call it, the Mythic Legion stuff. Now see, this is one of the problems I've had in the past, and why my old channel got so much drama and so much trolls and hate and stuff, because I spoke my mind, which I'm entitled to speak my mind on my channel. I wasn't disrespecting nobody. I just stated the piece and said exactly what I felt and stuff on my old channels about where I thought Hot Toys and Sideshow was going. And I think if everybody else jumped on the bandwagon when they should have, instead of bitching and moaning and being hypocrites about it, and I was the only one that was calling Sideshow and putting it on YouTube for you guys, I got thumbs down. And now some of the same people that were doing that and trolling are now the same hypocrites and funny ass people that no longer collect Hot Toys. And why Hot Toys and so many other companies, from statues to 1/6 scale figures, why the prices are ridiculous now on a lot of that stuff. Anyhow, moving on, I made a statement in 2 videos on how I felt about, Mythic Legions. They looked at it like, oh, he's just one trivial person complaining because he touched stuff he shouldn't have. First of all, one of the head guys who run the organization I spoke to probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour prior, and he was okay with it. But then some other Neanderthal decided to just, whatever the fuck it was, I'm not going to keep sounding repetitive, but for that person out there who said, well, you know what, like, it makes no sense how a person feels or gets disrespected and decide to stop dealing with shit. Like, that's, you could tell this guy was like you could tell he's a mama's boy. Only time he smelled a woman, a woman's was probably after going to the bathroom after one of his sisters or his mother. And the only time he's seen a woman down there, probably not even in person, probably just by looking at Pornhub or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of these babies and clowns that just want to be significant and shit. You don't come on somebody else's channel and then, tell them that they don't make sense because they want to get rid of something if they feel disrespected. So it's okay for all these woke people and the Black Lives Matter movement that was brought up and invented by a whole bunch of evil, angry ass black lesbians. So, all that makes sense on how a woman can grow up and decide she wants to be a man and a man wants to be a woman, which that in no way, shape, or form is part of fucking nature. But a black man or a man period can sit there and talk about his distaste and, his ordeal or ordeals he's dealt with, and just, say why he's getting rid. First of all, I don't owe anybody no explanations why I'm getting rid of anything, and or why I buy stuff, and or why I stop collecting. It's none of nobody's freaking business, especially yours. It's like, it's amazing how people will watch your videos, they never make a comment, but then if something bothers them personally, now they feel that they have a right to make a fucking comment, and then make a comment that's so like bland and kind of disrespectful all in itself. That's kind of nonsense. Hey, Haitian.
Yep.
What's up?
Tired.
There's food on the counter. I brought food.
Thank you.
So that kind of pissed me off on how this person can sit there and say, oh, well, like, it doesn't make sense on how you feel disrespected. I'm the kind of person, if I feel disrespected by somebody, if I don't knock them out or get into a physical confrontation with them, I just won't deal with them anymore. Like on a guy that I used to be real cool with, and speaking of that, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That doesn't make sense. But, you don't get mad at somebody or tell somebody they don't make sense because they decide not to support a toy maker. I have every right to not support anybody I don't want to support if I'm disrespected. So that's why I sold off my Mythic Legion stuff. So, and yeah, I did, because what happened last Saturday at that toy show. I didn't appreciate the fact that, how the dude told me to put the stuff back and wait and all that. Like I'm some kind of slave or some shit.
Fuck him.
Exactly. And then on top of that, the fucking, one of the owners, I spoke to him about it briefly on Sunday because he was kind of flabbergasted on how he felt that he was like, oh, well, you always buy when you're here. And I told him, I told him, I didn't really go into detail, but he didn't really ask or asked who who was the person or describe him or whatever. So that made me feel a certain way too. And, I feel like if my dollars and or my loyalty or support to you as a company is not good enough for you, then your fucking product's not good enough for me. So for that asshole, you can go fuck your mother and call it a fucking day at the end of the day, because I don't give a shit. You don't sit there and tell somebody, your comment doesn't make any sense. So anyhow, moving on. And you don't like it or anybody else don't like it, who gives a shit? Nobody watches my videos anyway, and I really don't give a fuck. Anybody who knows me know I'm a cool, decent person. I'm probably one of the most realist, straightforward, call a spade kind of motherfuckers there is out there. But again, that's another reason why I'm not liked, because I'm that kind of person. I'm that kind of person that says shit for what it is, and I speak my mind. I don't hold my tongue, and I don't give a shit what race you are, what creed. Hell, I don't even give a fuck if you're a man who like men. My daughter's godfather was my mother's first cousin, my cousin's boyfriend. And I hung out with him and everything. And I love him like a brother. But you know what? It's about respect. I don't give a damn if you are a man who find men attractive. I don't give a shit if you're a woman. I don't care. Respect me, I respect you. So anyway, moving on. So, this is stuff I picked up today at the market. I just wanted to throw that in there, speaking of the market, because there's one guy that I considered family, and I had a lot of love for this kid. And, we finally parted our ways after a 3.5 year journey of, I feel like it was bullshit. And, things could have been avoided if he just kept his word and did what he's supposed to have did from the gate. But again, to each his own. My wife and my son is standing right here. My wife will be the first one to tell you, I can turn myself off like a light switch. I can stop dealing with a person and don't never fucking look back. You know what I mean? But anyhow, moving on. So this is stuff I picked up at the market today. My boy Dion, I don't know what he was thinking with his prices earlier on shit. I thought he was out of his fucking mind. But anyway, I did get these comic books from him. Everybody know I'm a G.I. Joe guy. I don't know why why whoever had these has so many copies of these. Because there's 5 copies of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 32. Then there's 1 copy of number 33. There's 2 copies of number 31. And then here there's 2 copies of X-Men and Micronauts number 1. 1 of number 4, which is, obviously I don't have 2 and 3. Because it's like a 4 issue miniseries. Then I have Cloak and Dagger number 5. I don't really know why. Go ahead, Isaiah. I know you don't want that shit. I know I should have hit him.
You want one?
No, just take it. Bastard. Don't be laughing if I cut your fucking hair, fuck your haircut up. Anyway, I got this from one older white dude that he's cool at the market too. He actually goes thrifting and shit. Him and his wife. He had this. When I saw it, I was like, oh shit, I wonder if he had everything for it. But he said, oh, it's just the G.I. Joe part. I have this, but I think I may be missing this piece, which is like the holes. But for $10, he wanted 20, which I still think is fair. Spike, go where you supposed to go before you get tied up and get your ass whooped. Anyway, and yeah, I am speaking to my dog. Here I got this from Pete. Being that I'm cool with him, I'm not gonna disclose what I paid for it because I just don't do that with people I'm cool with. Who knows? Maybe another year or two, I might stop talking to him too. That's an inside joke. Yeah, y'all probably wouldn't understand it. Anyway, I got these 2 from him. The Quest for Camelot. So there's these 2. I do gotta wipe these down. I only got them because they brand new in the box, even though the box is beat up. They are vintage for 2 reasons. One, because they are from that movie. Even though they are from the 90s, it's still vintage. And 2, because they're vintage and they're boxed. So that's why I got them. I think this was played by Garrett. That is, I think if I'm not mistaken, Dennis Quaid, I think. But anyhow, I forgot who played Kayla, excuse me, but whatever. So I got these two. Pete did tell me a price for this individually, which I still thought was cool. So I got that from him. I also got this Hot Wheels Tunes CRX Honda. I thought this was pretty badass. Even though I don't collect these, but this is dope. So that's why I took it, because I could at a toy show, I should be able to get 30-40 bucks for it, because it is nice looking and a lot of people love Hondas. And being that it is Hot Wheels and it is kind of like rare to see. I've never seen this. You know what I mean? So I got that from Pete, and then I got I don't think I got any. Well, I did get the PS4. Don't know if it works, but I did get the PS4, the controller. I think that's all I got from him. I got the PS4 with the controller, no wires, no nothing. The CRX Honda, and the two Quest for Camelot pieces. So I got those four for a disclosed price. I mean, I paid over $100 for it. You know what I mean? So I did pay over 100. So, I'll just leave, the rest of it is nobody's business. These right here, these 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that, wait, 5. I know 4 out of 5 games I got from somebody. I did get from somebody, another older white dude that was just sitting there like, you could tell he was having a bad day, but he was only asking $5 a game. I was like, well, how much are the games? He just put his hand up, saying 5. And I was like, okay. And since I got a PS4 from Pete, I figured that, when I do sell a PS4 at my garage sale or whatever, I would have games to go along with it. So what better way than not to get, saying some games here. So I think I do have 3 brand new PS4 games, which is Need for Speed Rivals, which is probably the best game here. Trials Fusion, yeah, I don't know, but still brand new. And Wolfenstein. So these are brand new. This has got, just because they brand new, that got to be worth at least $30. Ninjago, the movie video game, is probably a $5 game. A Metal Gear Solid 5 is definitely $10-15, maybe even 20. And you can never go wrong with a Metal Gear game with a system. You know what I mean? So there's 5 games here. So I don't remember. I know I only counted 4 from the guy. I don't know where the hell I got the other ones from. But whatever. At the end of the day, I don't remember where I got it from, so I can't say what I paid for it. But I know I definitely got 4 out of the 5 from that particular old white guy. Then this other dude I met, he does clean outs. Lucky him. He said he does clean outs, and in his spare time he buys storage units too. Of course, clean outs are a better way to go because you charge people to take their stuff. And being that he had a whole bunch of stuff that they gave for free, he sold his stuff really cheap. So I got these 3 from him. I got Admiral Ag. Is it General Akbar or Admiral? Admiral Akbar, I think. This is missing his top cloak, but it's one of the royal guards, not fully clothed. And then this dude, I always keep forgetting his name, but I'm always coming across him. So these 3, I forgot what I paid for them. Oh, damn, I did forget. But it was cheap. Whatever the hell it was cheap. It could have been a $5 bill. I can't really remember, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. This I got from this kid I know named Chris. Me and his mom are real cool. I know his mom because she used to be one of the ticket girls at the Meadowlands. And she always liked me. And no, not in a sexual way. In a respectful, like, hey, she liked me because she grew up liking Mr. T. And me and her was always cool till her back got real bad. So, her son treats me real cool. His name is Chris. And he's a real humble, nice kid who sells at the flea market. And he also helps his mom out with the stuff he sells. He's in his 20s. Real cool kid. So anytime I get a chance to buy something from him, even regardless of how trivial it is or not, I always try to buy something from him because, he's out there trying to do the right thing. He works during the week, help his mom. And on top of that, whatever he sells there, because Bob gives him a good spot because, again, his mom used to work for Bob and them, which is he's an old cranky but a millionaire. So anyway, enough of that said. So I got these from him. I'm not gonna, of course, I'm cool with him, so I'm not gonna say what I paid for them. But they go for around $20 each. These are original Xbox Crash Bandicoot games, and I brought them because there's 4 of them here. I don't know how many games they made for the original Xbox, but I did get them. You got Crash Tag Team Racing, Crash Nitro Kart, Crash Bandicoot, and the Wrath of Cortex, and then Crash, Twin Sanity. So it's $80 worth of game here. And since I have a DS that I got at the toy show for $40 last week from somebody, he also had this too, which is the Super Mario Brothers for the DS. And I have a Mario Donkey Kong game and like 2 or 3 other games that means nothing for the DS. But this game is only worth about $10-15. At one time it was going for like $30-40, but it's worth about 10, maybe 10-15. So I'll throw that in with the DS as a bundle. So I got that from him. Nothing's really high in profit for me, to be honest. Maybe the comics, I didn't look these up. But, you know, Dion is my boy. And just because he's my boy don't mean I got to buy. And it doesn't mean that he's got to give me a great crackhead price for stuff, too. But the price he wanted for these was, like, phenomenally ridiculous. But we wound up working something out. And even I think I overpaid for them. But being that I am, you know, if they were Transformers and G.I. Joe, and these are really good G.I. Joe books with these numbers. So, and they are kind of sequential, being that it's number 31, 33, and 32. So yeah. And then this other dude, again, the clean out guy, I got this stuff from him along with these are the first 3 I got. Then there's one dude, I don't know if he was white or Spanish, but he was pissing me off. He was like just really grabbing at a lot of stuff. And I just like, you know, I just let him take shit. And I did regret it, but I really don't like dealing with video games that don't, I mean, especially CDs that don't have their cases. But there was a lot of good games for the Sega CD that was in one booklet. And I kind of regret it after the fact, but it is what it is. But this guy was just snatching up everything, and I was really pissed. I mean, I wanted to smack him, but I couldn't get mad at him. You got to get mad at the guy who was selling the stuff, because he did tell me that he was going to put shit aside and hold it. And I said, well, and I kept coming back, and he still wasn't ready. He was taking his sweet fucking time, and then he just decided to throw it out there to the wolves. I don't play that game. But because he wasn't disrespectful is the reason why I didn't really dig into his ass, you know, because I don't give a fuck who you are. You know, if I feel disrespected, I'm going to tell you about yourself. Then I would, you know, purposely, disrespectfully put your shit down. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I got this, the last thing, I got this from him. I don't remember when I got these, but I think it was those 2. It was something. But I think the Super Mario Brothers Wii game I got from him. This is another game that used to be like $20 to $30 to $40. Now it's worth about the same thing as that DS game, about $10-15, if that. And I even though it is TV sports hockey, it is a TurboGrafx-16 game. That's the only reason why I grabbed it. Normally I would have just put it down, and I did put it down a couple times, but I was like, you know what? It's a TurboGrafx-16 game. I don't know if it's worth $15 or $10, but either way, I know it's got to be worth more than what he charged me for everything. He told me just give him $5. I guess he felt bad, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that to you, bro. I'll give you 10. You know, and he was very shocked and happy with that. And I also got this from him, which is Final Fantasy 3 for the Sega Genesis. This would have been worth a lot more if it had the case and or the booklet. But like this is anywhere from $15 to around 40, depending. But again, it's worth 40 to 65 or so if it had the case and the booklet. So whatever. So I did get a good deal for that stuff. And this I got from another guy named Chris, not the young kid I was talking about, but he's another older guy from Staten Island. Cool guy, but you know, he gave me this for like $4. This is like a bootleg Hulk Hogan. So I did take that. So yeah, going to my boy Dion. I paid high for these books. You could say I basically paid a little over $5 each book. And I think I have 8 here. So you got, yeah. I paid about just around that. But again, it's because they are lower numbers. I don't know exactly how, like what key issues these are. I gotta look them up, but I may or may not have them. And if I do have them, they're probably not in this condition. But again, this is G.I. Joe number 33. There's 5 copies of G.I. Joe number 32. So normally, you know, stuff like this would probably be in like a real decent key issue. So I gotta do some research in it, but there's 5 copies of it. Then we got here, we got 2 copies of number 31. So you got Destro standing in a door. It looks like a door that looked like a barn or something that's on fire with snake eyes. I have read a lot of these G.I. Joe books back in the day, so I don't remember a lot of these stories because I done went through so many. I must have read thousands of comic books over the last fucking 20 years. I mean, it's been over 12 years or so since I've opened up a book and read a full book, but I read so many comic books, I can't remember storylines for nothing. There's very few issues and book pages that I would remember. So yeah, to that. And then these I just took just cause. And then one of these books got 2 copies. Yeah, so there's 2 copies of the X-Men and the Micronauts number 1. Then there's 1 copy of number 4, as I said earlier. Then there's Cloak and Dagger number 5. Why did I get this book? I don't know. Either way, I put back these and I just kept the G.I. Joe books. And he was like, yo, come on, man. And, you know, I was just like, all right, whatever. You know, we just worked the price and definitely overpaid for them, I think. I could be wrong. Not too sure, but it's okay. This Middle Eastern guy I know, always keep forgetting his name. We always joking around with each other. Very hard. Real cool cat. And these guys here, I got I don't deal with the old Jacks or Jacks period, but I do see people selling these in toy shows for like 50, 60 bucks just because they're a team. And I think these are not that easy to find, especially them with their chest guards or whatever the hell you want to call it. And you know, this other guy had them, and it's funny how a lot of people do that when you're close at a flea market. A lot of people just decide to pick up shit and look it up. Now, I could have been a douchebag, but I try not to be. And the guy was looking at them and looking them up. So I was asking him, I was like, well, what do you want for them? Then he told me, $8. And then instead of the guy just picking them up and taking them, he's still looking at them now, but now he got them in his hand. And I started to say, all right, here's your $8. And then I just told the guy, hey, listen, they're mine, give them to me. But I didn't want to do that, even though he didn't have no right to it. Even if he had them in his hand, the guy made an offer, and he didn't counter offer, and technically they would have been mine because I would have given him the price that he wanted for it. You know what I mean? But again, I don't like that. I think that's scumbaggish. So somebody did call me a scumbag. Well, see, he didn't call me a scumbag. He just said something I did today was a scumbag move because I kind of skipped the line and people got me in front. And I did it for my boy Dion. You know what I mean? And the guy who had some stuff for sale, he was mad and he decided not to sell to me because he felt what I did was scumbagish. But, you know, I didn't really argue with him because in a way he's right. You know, hey, listen. He didn't curse me out. He said it was a scumbag move. So he was respectful on how he felt, and you know he was right. You know, because I'd have been the same. So that's why I was like, okay. He's like, you know, you can't buy nothing from me. He wasn't cursing or disrespectful. He just, you know, spoke his mind and stated his piece. And like I said, I'm the kind of person that could ditch in what I ditch out and ditch out what I ditch in. So I'm not a hypocritical person. So couldn't argue with him there, and you know, he had every right to not sell anybody anything. So I'm not going to argue with anybody. I don't argue with people with their prices, with their product, and or if they decide that they want me or don't want me to buy anything from them. So, you know what I'm saying? I can't say it's his loss because he sold a lot of the stuff that I was interested in, but whatever. It is what it is. But anyhow, yeah, so you got this crap here. So again, Pete gave me a price deal on these 2 pieces. The PS4 and that Honda CRX. Then that kid Chris, he gave me a deal on these, on this stack of 5. My boy Dion, I don't know if I overpaid for them, but I know the G.I. Joe ones I want. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these, but the G.I. Joe ones I'll definitely keep 4 of them and sell the rest. These I only brought just to resell, so I could put these in the bag and somebody who's interested, and hopefully they'll buy them. I don't even know what they go for, but I just figured 8, and he wound up giving this. He wound up giving it to me for 7, so he took $1 off. So I was cool with that. I think they should be worth maybe at least $15 and more. Like I said, I've seen a lot of different versions of like these tag team guys from this particular Jack Specific line and the one right before Mattel took it over, where these things are like 70 and up. But I could be wrong about these. I could be right about them. But whatever. Got them anyway. And this I got brought from this other Chris. Vinny's boy, Mailman Chris. I brought this from his cousin. His cousin, one of the guys that sell at the market. I don't really care for him or his people too much. But anyway, you know, he told me, he asked how much, and he's like, oh, $10. And I was like, oh shit. So I thought he was gonna take it. I mean, you know, you gotta be a fool not to take this nice Ron Perlman Hellboy, especially for $10. I mean, shit. I mean, that's a steal. $10 for this to me is a steal. But whatever. And you know, moving back to this thing again, I paid $10 for it. I was even thinking about just, you know, spray painting it and just customizing it. I was thinking about customizing this thing myself, turn it into like an abandoned G.I. Joe piece of the shell and just turn it into like a dreadnought thing. I was thinking about doing that because I do have a G.I. Joe Skyhawk downstairs that I got from 2 weeks ago at the toy show from the old white guy who sold me the bag of G.I. Joe vehicle parts. And the Wolverine was complete. The Mobat just missing a little cannon piece, and there's a couple of other vehicles in there, as well as that Sky Striker. And the Sky Striker is in great condition, only missing one seat. Of course, the pilot, but he's easy to come by. One parachute and 2.5 missiles, because one of the biggest missiles is missing just the tip of it. But other than that, it's in great condition. So that was a steal. And so that, and they don't have the little side stabilizers that you put inside of the Skyhawk, and it's missing the 2 missiles as well. So I think yesterday or something like that, I spray painted one downstairs, and I kind of turned it into like a Cobra Commander, like a personal Cobra Commander Skyhawk. And it came out dope. It came out really, really nice. And I picked 2 blues. I should have painted the top purple instead of the light blue I went with, but I didn't have purple, being that I wanted to be kind of like a Skyhawk, but kind of like a Starscream or another kind of Decepticon as a Cobra vehicle. I'm gonna show you guys that, because my next video after this is gonna be I picked up 2 hot toys today from that dude Ivan. The guy I told you guys about that I've been dealing with for a couple of months now. He lives in Newark, and I met him through Facebook. He's Ecuadorian, and it just goes to show, you know, it doesn't matter who somebody is, and you know, so everybody treat everybody, you know, a certain way. And he knows I'm a man of my word. He even says that, and he even invited me in his home for some cervezas, which are beers. Hang out with him. He's also a tattoo artist. I want to get more tattoos done. He introduced me to his family today, which is a good deal, a big deal when it comes to those kind of people, especially him. And you know, he went from being a cool acquaintance. You know, he went from just being a person that he gave me an address 2 doors down from him until he got to know me, to now even invite me in his home and giving me better deals on stuff. So he's holding some more hot toys for me that I want, which is a Superman. He's still holding my die-cast Midas Iron Man and Doctor Strange. I decided I wanted the Doctor Strange because I did like the Doctor Strange multiverse movie, and the actor who played him is pretty, and that, you know, it's pretty cool. And to be honest, that Doctor Strange hot toy is fucking hot, especially the one that he has. Today I did pick up the Ben Affleck Justice League Batman, which to me is my favorite Batman since the second Christian Bale and or the Michael Keaton '89 they did, because Michael Keaton to this day is still my favorite Batman. Just like I like Henry Cavill. Hell, I even like Brandon Roth and oh my God, what's the other guy? All the other people that play Superman. But Christopher Reeve is always gonna be my favorite. You know, I think the one right. I mean, I like all of them equal, but I think, I mean, you know, they all have, you know, like I like them all, but Christopher Reeve is always gonna be my Superman. But I think my next one, even though I'm a huge Tom Welling fan, I would say my next right under Christopher Reeve as far as cinema wise. I would definitely say Henry Cavill. Definitely, without a doubt, I would say Henry Cavill. And I also got this from this dude. There's a guy who buys video games named Mike. His bro, I always forget his brother's name. You know, real short, humble, stocky, Caucasian dude with a bald head. Very humble guy. Very, very respectful. Very humble to everybody. Even if somebody steals from him, he has way more etiquette and patience than I do. He even gives respect if somebody steals something in front of him. He like the way he go. He don't make a scene. He's just a out fucking right guy. Like, this dude is just off the chain nice. And I got this from him. I do, get a lot of Squishmallows. This young kid named Ross is the first one that put me onto it. And when I started going to toy shows to walk around, but when I started going to toy shows and selling is when I just realized just how much, because my son Mike Jr., he's big into plushes. And he also put me onto this and told me, yo, Squishmallows are money. So that's when I started buying some of them at the, because I remember, I was like, wait a minute, that kid Ross was telling me about that too. Especially the character ones. And then my son said it, and then I started buying them little by little. And then I realized the bigger ones, these big ones is where it's at. Like these ones that are around 28, and even the bigger ones that are like 48 inches and shit. And being that this is a Chewbacca, it's a Star Wars Squishmallow, still brand new with the tag. He wanted a certain price for this, and I'm just gonna tell you what I paid for it. I paid $15 for this, which is about $8 or so cheaper than what I would get it from if I found it thrifting. You know what I mean? Yeah. But this is really nice. So a lot of this stuff's got to go downstairs because I got to prep it and whatnot. The video game stuff I'm going to keep up here until I was thinking about just even taking it tomorrow with me. But nah. I would like to try to find an Xbox because I want to start doing bundle systems. Even at toy shows, just take systems and bundle them. But not all systems, like the Wii's, maybe a Wii U, shit like that. But whatever. But haven't really decided how and or what I'm gonna do. But anyway, thanks for watching, and the next video would definitely be me just talking about that Batman and that the Deadpool. And it's funny because the Deadpool he been holding that shit for me for like what 3.5, 4 months now, because that was technically supposed to have been the second to third piece that I was supposed to have got from him, and today I just decided, let me get that piece now, because he's been holding that one for me longer than any of them. And unlike some people that I used to deal with, and why I don't deal with them is I keep my word. I don't like dealing with liars, thieves, and individuals that keep backing their word, because I was always taught that a man has one thing in this world that means more than even his pride, and that's his word. And if you can't keep your word as a man, you're not a man. So that's just the way I grew up. So one individual I just stopped dealing with because it's just consistent bullshit. And, but, whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.